Does anybody remember that time when Chris was so angry at the fact that Sega changed Sonic's arms from tan to blue that he threatened Sega employees with death threats, sent a crappy glitter bomb to Sega's HQ, and proceeded to pepper spray a GameStop employee? Now, to understand how things escalated so much, we need to go all the way to the beginning of the so-called Blarm saga, also known as Blue Arm saga, which roughly lasted a year from September 3rd, 2014 to December 7th, 2015. Towards late 2014, while everyone else was posting on Facebook about less important political concerns, Chris decided that the most important cause of the time was protesting Sega's decision to make Sonic's arms blue as opposed to the usual tan color in Sonic Boom, their latest non-canon game in the series. His angry, incoherent letters to Sega clearly show that Chris's prolonged estrangement from reality could reach new heights, and that concepts such as civility, moderation, and channeling anger in any way that doesn't involve ranting like a child and throwing a tantrum are by now complete alien concepts to Chris, or at least go out the window whenever he's annoyed. Unfortunately, unlike previous bouts of anger, where Chris would simply film himself or take to social media to rage at his target, in this instance he decided to take a hands-on approach by vandalizing copies of Sonic Boom wherever he saw them. When GameStop employees rightfully tried to make him leave the store, he agreed to walk out, but only after brandishing his can of mace and spraying it all over a poor employee's shirt and face. At first, it was unclear whether Chris would boycott Sonic Boom or just buy the games and watch the show like the consumer's lemming he is. Given his irrational hatred and acts of vandalism towards otherwise available games, the former seemed more likely. On the 13th of January 2015, it was revealed that he owned copies of the games. Chris said that they were sent to him by Catherine. Why Chris has such a bizarre distaste for such a minor insignificant detail in the first place is still up for speculation. It could simply be overly attached nostalgia to the original Sonic the Hedgehog, or possibly some inner venting for his own failed franchise that he determined to get into Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and Nintendo 3DS. Whatever the reason is, it certainly isn't healthy for Chris given his current mental state. Chris's hatred for Sonic's Blue Arms started in February 2014 when the first advertisements for the Sonic Boom TV show appeared on Cartoon Network. In December, he offered the following chronology. I have just received the question from one of my girlfriends. So, I'm curious, where did you hear about this Blue Arm Sonic issue? Is it something you discovered on your own, or is it a bigger issue in the Sonic community? To best answer this question, and to very much my visual dismay and further recollection, I have been feeling this since last February. I need to search for the one announcement trailer video of that damn TV show. I remember finding it for myself on either Facebook through Sega's feed or on YouTube through the video recommendations on my laptop. As we were moving into the temporary house, I felt utter shock at the sight of the blue arms on Sonic immediately as I watched it for the first time that day in early February 2014 this year. I was too busy and stressed from collecting as much as possible from the burnt house and bring them either to our storage unit and this house's basement. I had not thought about this issue much until last June or July with the E3 trailer being presented on the Sega and Sonic Facebook pages. Since then, I've continuously protested the blue arms by commenting and messaging that Sonic's arms are not blue, and among which I've warned them that this sort of thing would not end well for them, and it was, and it still is, a very bad idea. So, in short, I watched this damned trailer last February, I felt pissed off then, I relearned about it last June or July, I still felt very pissed off, and now I'm continually growing and growing more angry and pissed off at Sega, Nintendo and Cartoon Network and everyone else involved there. I have contacted Sega and commented numerously with months worth of time. They ignored me, not responded or done anything about it at all, and therefore the time for talk is long done and over with, and we need action upon Sega and Sonic Boom now more than ever. Thank you. For all the agitation and violence, Chris has never clearly explained why this particular alteration to this specific cartoon character makes him so furious. The closest he came to explaining his confrontational stance was in a June Facebook post. I only just heard and seen the ugly change a few weeks ago, and I had too many other stresses going on to act earlier. Why do I feel this way? The same reason why many people feel Michael Jackson should not have had to change his color. Would you want to change your skin detail just for a change of image or an insecurity of self-concept? I would not even commit suicide ever because of how low in self-confidence and self-esteem I've been feeling for years. I'm going to eventually actually past natural. So let's get Sonic's arms color changed back. He returned to the Michael Jackson analogy in November, arguing that this blue arm travesty is as gosh awful as Michael Jackson's whiteface thing. He was careful to add nothing personal against a pop star singer and nothing personal against anyone of race or color either. While it is difficult to decipher Chris's garbled sentences, it is clear that his fear is linked to his belief that Sonic, like all cartoon characters, is real and lives in a parallel universe. Like many other autistic people, Chris is very resistant to change, especially when it's forced upon him. Chris would not change even in the face of tremendous hardship. Sonic, however, was forced to change for trivial reasons, such as appealing to a broader audience. Sonic has been Chris's lifelong hero with whom he identifies strongly, so he's taken this injustice very personally. Unfortunately, he falsely assumes that countless millions feel the same way. At other times, however, Chris has latched onto the idea that the blue arms causes him sensory overload. Sensory overload is a broad term simply meaning that the body reacts to overstimulation of a sense, but in autistics it's generally referred to an abstract, specific sensory stimulus such as blue arms, which the autistic person is simply unable to stand. However, if Chris's sensory overload were a real issue, all he would need to do is avoid sonic boom. Chris has never before complained about sensory overload, and damningly has gone so far as to draw blue-armed hedgehogs himself, such as some depictions of Bubbles Roast Chew. The truth is that Chris either believes that Sega is abusing his best friend, or he's using autism as an attempt to manipulate the intentions of a multi-billion-dollar worth company. Since the change to Sonic's arm color isn't the only element of the redesign, or even the most obvious one, it's anyone's guess as to why that was the aspect Chris chose to focus his hatred on. Nor was the first time Sonic was redesigned. The previous instance was all the way back in the 1990s, where the blue blur was given a more mature new design during the lead up to the release of Sonic Adventure. Moreover, unlike the boom redesign, which was done for an alternative continuity and had no effect on the main canon, the Adventure redesign affected virtually all Sonic media going forward. Yet there's no evidence Chris reacted nearly as badly in this case. Indeed, to the contrary, it was a gift of a Sega Dreamcast and a copy of Sonic Adventure that reignited his interest in the franchise. In light of all of this, Chris's bizarre hatred of Sonic's blue arms looks even more inexplicable and inconsistent than it already is. After discovering that the TV series was renewed for a second season, Chris posted on Facebook to complain about it again. A second season of the hashtag Sonic Boom show with those blue arms? Hell no. Boycott hashtag Cartoon Network with me. Refuse to watch the channel. Refuse to go to their website for any reason as well. And tell them to pull the damn cartoon from the air and force hashtag Sega to recolor Sonic's arms back immediately. That same day, Chris spreaded his good word by stating that Sonic's arms are not blue and they seriously cause sensory overloads in me. Sega needs to recall everything Sonic Boom and change Sonic's arm color back immediately. Follow me in boycotting Sonic Boom until Sega wises up, recalls everything and changes his arm color back now. Join my group, Fix Sonic's Arms Immediately Sega, and sign our petition now. Later on, Chris would encourage his followers to give him support by saying, "Follow my lead to force Sega to wise up and fix their greatest mistake ever." This light message was followed up by an absolute monolithic size Chris-style block of text posted to his Facebook account, which read, "Everyone, I'm going to handwrite to Sega about this matter, and I've just called their 1-800 number and left a message last night. I will call again middle of this coming week if they do not call me back. I'm urging everyone in the group to write and or telephone Sega as well, and insist and demand upon them to recall everything Sonic Boom, including the cartoon and video games, and change Sonic's arms color back immediately. Suggest for them to do the following: recall all remaining stock of the Sonic Boom games and merchandise from all the stores carrying them. On the eShop, immediately change the initial software to reflect Sonic with his original tan color arms, as well as all video and imagery therein on there. Replace all of their imagery and videos on their official website and pages to reflect Sonic with the original tan color arms as well. Immediately create new game cards, discs, and inserts with Sonic's original tan color arms, and on the software, the arm color must be there initially before any downloaded software updates. Instill downloadable software updates for all the already sold games to reflect Sonic initially with tan color arms as well. Remove the Sonic Boom cartoon from the television and internet airwaves and change all of the Season 1 episodes for Sonic to have his original tan color arms and initially make that default in all following seasons of episodes, including the second season. And they must announce a recall and update as well as apologize to every individual person who has found little to greatest offense in the new arm color. Immediately worldwide broadcast and in printed magazines and newspapers everywhere. Also, copy and paste the following true statement in your letters and telephone conversations. The very sight of Sonic's blue arms make our ally, Christian Weston Chandler of Ruckersville, Virginia, suffer from consistent sensory overloads. Upon seeing them, his brain immediately shuts down into a momentary to lengthy, depending on how long he is forced to displeasingly endure the horrific sight, state of mental paralysis. Combined with his autism, he only gets more angry as each day passes, but this pair of blue arms still remains. Either the change back to him having tan-colored arms happens immediately, or he and thousands to millions of allies in the Sonic the Hedgehog loyal fanbase will only get more angry and outraged to the point of coming right over there to your offices and doing something very bad there. Also, if somehow you have managed to receive a copy of either Sonic Boom game, no questions asked, you should smash the game disc and or game card and enclose the pieces with your letter to Sega of America to show them that we are very serious and passionate towards rectifying their mistake in changing Sonic's arm color. Below is their address and customer support phone number. Let's give them hell and back enforcing them to wise up and change Sonic's arm color back immediately. Redacted. Hashtag Sega, hashtag Sonic the Hedgehog, hashtag Sonic Boom, hashtag Nintendo, hashtag Cartoon Network, hashtag GameStop, hashtag Toys R Us, hashtag Walmart, hashtag Target, hashtag Best Buy, hashtag Wii U, hashtag Wii, hashtag 3DS, hashtag DS, hashtag DSi, hashtag Amy Rose, hashtag Tails, hashtag Knuckles, hashtag Robotnik, and hashtag Eggman. Once again, another completely unhinged rambling post by Chris, which is respectively and logically ignored by all who are mentally sane. In Chris's new Fix Sonic's Arms Back Facebook group, Chris posted about the pickle joke in the TV show, surprisingly being neutral about it. Naturally, however, he eventually suspects it to be a personal insult from Sega themselves. I know well I said not to talk about the show much or post any spoilers. This time though, I am willing to make this exception. I have heard that in the show Sonic ordered a sandwich with no pickles, but is served the sandwich with extra pickles. I feel neutral / indifferent about the joke. My friend read a bit into it as a possible reference to myself, as well as a possible middle finger gesture to me from Sega. Being serious and sincere, no sarcasm or jokes, what do y'all think / feel from this lame pickle vegetable joke? Answer in the comments of this post. On December 12th, Chris shared another of Sega's Facebook posts, this time about introducing the main character, and Chris as usual complaining about his blue arms. For Christ's and God's sake, please change his arm color back immediately, Sega. On the 11th of December 2014, Quickie user from the words of BR jokingly sent an email to Sega's customer service under Chris's email, suggesting that they send him free copies of Sonic Boom for the Hexbox, something that would have been impossible for Sega to actually do, as the Sonic Boom games were exclusive to the Wii U and 3DS. Chris discovered this the next day and proceeded to rage. Ticket 137668, Sonic's arms are not blue. Thank you for contacting Sega of America customer service. Your request has been received and is being reviewed by our support staff. Response time may vary, but typically you will hear back from us within the same business day. Our agents are on hand from 9 AM to 5 PM Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, with the exception of US national holidays. Requests received over the weekend will be answered the following Monday. To review the status of requests and additional comments, follow the link below. You may also reply via email. ChrisChan, Sonichu, November 20th. Listen, I did not contact you initially with a message there. That was a Hexbox loving internet troll pretending to be me. But since I have your attention now, I'll bring it up directly with you now. Months ago, Sonic's arms being blue has seriously been bothering me. They have caused me sensory overload every time I see them. They have to be changed back now. I've contacted Sega via the Facebook page as well as the Sonic the Hedgehog Facebook page. Please see attached screen cap photos. Please recall everything Sonic Boom right now and change his arms color back, or I will do worse. I'm still very pissed off that no one has fixed the monstrosity that is changing Sonic's arm color. I am boycotting the Sonic Boom games and TV show and the toys, minus the two I bought to illustrate my points and everything else of it. Fix Sonic's arm color now, while I continue to rant, rave, boycott and complain. insane. Seriously, if I find either Sonic Boom game on any shelves in the store with Sonic's arms still blue, I'll be going so fucking crazy to prevent everyone from seeing the blue arm monstrosity. Do you hear me, Sega? I would totally boycott AN channel and encourage everyone else to do that as well. Wise up now and recall everything Sonic Boom now, and maybe I would close the group and the petition and give y'all my money as well. And this is more than just software updates. You recall all of the Wii U and 3DS games and change their arm color in the game inserts, and change the arm color in the initial software discs and cartridges pre-update, and pull the cartoon and change the arm color in every single episode of the End show, and recall all of the Sonic plushes and figures from the stores and change his arm color on every single one of them as well. Do it all now or there will be serious sensory damage and then some hell to pay. On the 26th of December, the climax of the entire saga would arrive. Chris broke several laws by entering a GameStop from which he had been banned, vandalizing a Sonic Boom display, and macing an employee with pepper spray who was calling security as Chris left the store. All of this was recorded by a presumably bewildered bystander and was uploaded to Tumblr the next day. Within 2 days of this attack, Chris was arrested by jerk cops and incarcerated in Albemarle Regional Jail, then released on a $2,500 bail with a hearing scheduled for early 2015. After this event, Chris would continue to rant on his Facebook account on and off for several weeks. His rant would include defending his actions from the GameStop incident, defending his choice of actions again and stating that Sonic's new green irises are better than blue arms, victimizing himself, and defending the pepper spraying once again. He would continue whining about the blue arms until the 30th of January, when a document was leaked onto the Quickie forums, revealing that Chris had taken one step above macing employees and is threatening to glitter bomb Sega of America's headquarters. Initially thought to be work done by Weens, forum member Marvin eventually stood up and confirmed this is actually Chris's doing. The letter reads, "For every week Sonic the Hedgehog's arms remain blue in the Sonic Boom video games and TV cartoon show, and that you all at Sega continue to not publicly announce your apology for the change, as well as recalling everything of this Sonic Boom to change Sonic's arm color back immediately on television, newsprint and internet posts and videos, you all will receive a sparkling mess. And to stop this glittery combination from coming in, you will change Sonic the Hedgehog's arm color back immediately in every Sonic Boom, including pulling the cartoon from Cartoon Network to change the arm color back in every single episode of the show. Thank you." The document reveals that Chris refuses to stop committing acts of battery unless a multimedia and multi-billion-dollar company gives in to a 30-year-old man-child's threats. It also shows his complete lack of knowing what a glitter bomb actually is. To glitter bomb someone is to dump or throw glitter on your opponent in public, such as when some guy with a box of Cheez-Its came up to a new Gingrich and dumped glitter on him, not sending envelopes with glitter inside. To send envelopes with glitter inside is simply known as shipping enemies glitter. The so-called glitter bombs didn't give much fruit except for mockery of Chris's antics. A few days later, after hearing about Sega downsizing to focus on PC and mobile games, Chris thought that he had a hand in it through his boycott. Regardless of Sega downsizing, which I feel our boycotting has brought into play, we have made Sega take notice of their mistake in changing Sonic's arm color among the terms of the events, and they still can create and distribute downloadable update data for both Sonic Boom and games to change his arm color back at the very least. 5 days later, the sequel to the first Sonic Boom game was announced. As expected, Chris immediately showed his disapproval on Facebook. He even threatened Best Buy to not sell the game unless he changed Sonic's arm color back, and still firmly believed that Sega was the one who got him thrown briefly into prison. Hell no, still with the blue arms. Ugh, Sega, does my protests and jail time and court trouble result not resonate with you at all? Don't y'all ever freaking listen and learn? Omar Woodley, or as Chris misspells it, Olmar Woodley, is a male producer at Sega of America Inc. and the producer of Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice. Given Chris's hatred for Sonic Boom, it's no surprise that he considers Omar to be a jerk. On the 9th of June 2015, 2015, Chris threatened Woodley with physical violence through a post on Facebook, later editing the post to extend his threat to producer Stephen Frost as well. Bring to me in person the ones called Ormar Woodley and Stephen Frost, so I can tell to their faces of my plight and troubles I went and had to go through because of the sensory overloading, horrific arm color change that should never have happened, and then let me kick and beat them up upon further refusal to change the arm color back to tan in everything Sonic Boom. Damn and fuck Ormar Woodley and Stephen Frost. On that same day, Chris proceeded to post this to his Facebook account. I protested peacefully and bold. I get banned from the local 4 GameStops and rebanned from Fashion Square, end up in jail for a week along with court troubles. Someone got a mild amount of pepper spray. Time healed me some and I was recovering and doing better. Now another Blue Arm game is being made. Hashtag Sega has ruined a peaceful, pleasant life for me again. It is payback time. Hashtag Sonic Boom. Hashtag fix Sonic's arms immediately Sega. A few days later, Chris posted for the first time in a long while a non-threatening update on the Blue Arm saga. If Sega can give me 10 valid reasons, with at least one good reason, to justify the arm color change, no less, not counting to modernize Sonic or to make Sonic appealing to the younger generation, I may reconsider. After this seemingly peaceful post from Chris, he would go silent on the Blue Arms topic for 9 months until he posted his final opinion on the Blue Arm saga once and for all. This is the final update for this protest group. Regardless of circumstances and bad outcomes / tidings, it is confirmed that Sonic's arms will be back to the original color in the next Sonic game, Sonic and Mario at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. After this visual confirmation, I have found solace and satisfaction for the ending result. I wish to thank every person who actually helped in the protests against the Blue Arms in the Sonic Boom games, cartoon, and all of that. We have found success in our protest, it is good. And this is the end of the video. I know it's been a while since a new ChrisChan video. Well, here you have it. If you want any part of Christry to be revisioned, leave a comment below suggesting what era, and I may make a video on it. And with that said, goodbye.